Welcome back. The Senate is poised to pass an immigration bill tomorrow, but the hard work has just begun. The House version of that bill is in some ways much tougher on illegal aliens, but apparently not as tough as some in the media have been. In a recent closed-door meeting with some of New York's wealthiest, most influential political donors, Senator John McCain of Arizona accused broadcasters like Rush Limbaugh, Lou Dobbs of CNN, and Michael Savage of fueling the immigration problem. And he warned Americans not to, quote, ghettoize immigrants. Here to talk about what's really going on in the immigration debate, Air America radio host Rachel Maddow. Rachel, welcome.
Hi, Tucker.
The key to this is, and I like John McCain, as I've said many times, but the key to this is the audience. He's talking to rich people. And rich people of both parties support illegal immigration because they benefit from it, is the bottom line. I think this, and again, I say this as a fan of John McCain, so this is an outrageous thing to say, that nativist elements in the broadcast media are, quote, helping to fuel the problem of illegal immigration. The problem of illegal immigration is fueled by the government of Mexico and by employers in the United States, big business in the United States. Why do we always blame the press, bipartisan problem, for what, you know, governments are doing, basically?
What he reportedly said was that the right-wing figures in the media are ghettoizing immigrants, and that creates problems, like they have problems in France, for example, when immigrants are ghettoized, and that's fueling it. But I totally agree with John McCain on this. I think that this is a media-manufactured crisis, and not very much has changed empirically about illegal immigration and immigration generally in the last few years. But the Republicans and the right-wing media types, and you were part of this, have decided to run with this issue because it's good for ratings on TV, and it's good for some elements of the Republican Party in politics.
I will say I'm not sure it's good for ratings, or it is recently. It hasn't been always good for ratings. We were doing this story back when I had producers who were saying, this is a boring topic, why are we doing this? And I'm doing it because I think it's the most important issue facing America, period. And I can say that with a clean conscience. I did this a year ago. I did it a year and a half ago. I gave speeches about it. It's been bothering me for a long time. I grew up in the border. I'm doing it, I promise, for reasons that are pure.
Well,
I believe it.
I mean, what happens in this country is this is a constant in American politics. You know, in the 1890s and in the 1930s and in the 1980s, what happens is people decide to make an issue of illegal immigration, not because of what's actually happening on the ground, but when it's politically useful. And the people who were pounding their chests about this for a long time and nobody was paying attention to were people like the Minutemen and Tom Tancredo, who were really seen as very fringe figures until this became a mainstream political issue by virtue of right-wing figures in the media. And now these guys are mainstream.
Actually, that's totally untrue. The polls show, and I've been looking at them for more than a year and a half, that the average person, not rich people, not liberals in New York, but the average person in the red states in this country, totally opposed to illegal immigration.
Yeah, very recently, because it's been made a huge issue in the media. It's something that's been manufactured.
It's actually exactly the opposite. Mainstream media ignored this subject. Talk radio has been on this for a long time, as you know. Yeah. But the average person has been mad about it for good reason for a long time.
I completely disagree. And I talked to a lot of average people.
It's actually provable. Check the polls. You truly can. Check Gallup. Okay, on to an issue I'm not exactly sure what I think of, but it's this. The executive branch of the government, the FBI, the Justice Department, goes up to Bill Jefferson, Congressman, Democrat from Louisiana, goes to his office and searches it on Capitol Hill. He's been apparently caught on tape getting a bribe of $100,000, apparently, okay? I kind of like him. He's been on the show, but he's obviously in deep trouble. Republicans raised an outcry on, it seems to me, principled grounds. They're saying, look, separation of powers suggests this is wrong for the executive branch to be coming up here and getting into our business on Capitol Hill. Good for the Republicans for once, for standing up on principle on this.
It is an astounding political development. I mean, this presidency, if you care about separation of powers, if you care about the power of Congress, this presidency has done more to erode the power of Congress and the separation of powers than any other modern presidency. And the Republicans, who are supposedly conservatives, have completely gone along with this until the issue that is the final straw, the one thing that's really going to get them upset, which is the possibility that their offices will be raided in corruption investigations.
I think it's actually a pretty good reason. But the interesting thing is, you never saw, a lot of liberals hated Clinton because he was not very liberal, actually. He was a New Democrat. They never said it. They all fell in line like, you know, the good party people they were in the end, and sucked it up, never said boo in public. And I'm just glad to see the Republicans, for once and finally, standing up on principle to a member of their own party, even though he's in power.
But it is hugely embarrassing that this is the issue they decided to take their stand on. I mean, you look at, like, the signing statement thing, Bush took away their ability to override a presidential veto. It is a central thing that Congress can do. Bush has never vetoed anything. Instead, he signs these signing statements to say, I'm not going to follow the law anyway, but I'm not going to veto it either. So Congress Congress can't override a signing statement. He took away a fundamental function of what Congress does. Not a peep from a single Republican on that. But when it comes to the possibility that their offices will be raided, they're upset. And they ought to be upset.
At least they're taking a stand. But I must say, if a Democrat wins in 2008, you will see Democrats behave like the good little obedient robots they always are and say nothing for the whole time, no matter what that person does. Ever.
But maybe. But right now, the Republicans, this is a strange issue for them.
Well, good, but good. I'm glad they're standing up. At least it's something. Rachel Maddow. Thank you.
Thank you, Tucker.
Ha! Still to come, why is Hillary Clinton telling